Welcome to City, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm sitting down with a host of a show that most of you perhaps have seen, Make a Difference. Today I have on host Wanda Walker. Wanda, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alton. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure. Let me ask you a question. How different is it for you over on that side of the interview seat as opposed to being the interviewee?
Well, it makes you a little bit more nervous when you're the interviewee.
That's right.
The interviewer doesn't have to think about what they're going to say and how they're going to express it and those kinds of things. They just have the questions and they go for it. And lots of times the person who's being interviewed kind of carries the program, so it's a lot more relaxed to be the interviewer.
Absolutely, I must agree. But you know, you do a wonderful job and make a difference. Talk about when your show comes on and airs, and how people might be able to view it.
Okay, it's on WJCN and it's on channel 22 on Charter Cable. I come on Tuesday morning at 10 and at 6:30 and Sunday at 4.
Okay, well, very good. And I must say I've been a guest on your show, and I thoroughly enjoyed it too. So I want to thank you for the wonderful work that you do in the community in helping us to make a difference in our community and in the lives of individuals that watch your show.
Well, thank you, and you were an excellent guest when you came.
Well, thank you very much, Wanda. All right, well, today we're going to talk about a number of things that you are involved with, and I know that you're on the steering committee of Safe Families. Talk a little bit about tell me a little bit about Safe Families, if you don't mind.
Okay. Safe Families started in Chicago in 2003, and now it's in 40 states. And it's also in the United Kingdom and in Canada. And the government in the United Kingdom just recently gave $4 million for the Safe Families to be started in the United Kingdom. And what Safe Families does is that it partners with the church to do social work in the community. And it's a collaboration between volunteers and welfare professionals and also the churches.
Okay.
And so they provide safe families for children who are in a place where they need to go into another home, and it's an alternative to foster care.
Oh, okay. And you're talking about foster care. I can remember years ago that I was a foster parent myself.
Yes.
And it led to adoption eventually, and then to grandchildren.
Right.
3 of them, as a matter of fact. And I think that's what I talked about when I came on your show.
Yes.
And it is so important that we have places like safe, families or safe places for our children to go. And I heard you talking about, as opposed to being in foster care or in I guess maybe homes for a night and then they move back and back and forth. Talk a little bit more about some of the missions of Safe Families, if you don't mind.
Okay, well, the mission is to host vulnerable children and create a family-like support for them, and also to help the families as they go through crisis. And what happens is that the families voluntarily ask for help.
Okay.
And so they maintain their custody of the children. They can come and see the children, but the Christian family who is providing care for them, just adds them to their family, puts an extra plate on the table, or wherever they're going, they take this child that's in need. And it's just a period of time that maybe the family is going through something and they need some extra help and support. And Safe Families wants to do it through the church because you know that the people through the church are good people and will provide a good home for the child. And usually the stays are around 23 days, so it's not a long stay. It's just to help get people through crisis.
Okay. Just an extended support system.
Yes.
Basically what it sounds like, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, and I think all of us at some point or another in our life need a helping hand.
That's right.
And I think it's great that we can, and when you mention about the church, a lot of times you think of the church as the place where you can get that assistance. Because there's only so much that the government can do. And I think it's incumbent upon the churches to basically kind of fill that void or that gap that sometimes other agencies can't fill.
Yes, and the director of the DFACS office is on the steering committee for this, and DFACS is very supportive of safe families for children. And really, they realize that there are just so many families out there that they can't help them all. And so they are very much asking the church to come alongside.
Well, very good. I think that's a very worthwhile call. And I'm kind of reflecting back to my days when I started the adoption and was the foster parent. I know there was a MAP program that we had to go. It's Model Approach for Planned Parenting, I think it was called.
Yes.
What if someone listening, that was interested in becoming a foster parent, not necessarily a foster parent, but get involved with your program? How do they do that?
Okay. Well, they would need to contact Candy Gibson.
Okay.
And she is with Twin Cedars. She's the director of the program. And Candy's email address is just C for Candy, Gibson at twincedars.org. And also I have the phone number for her.
All right.
And it's 706-298-0050.
Okay, very good. So if someone is interested, give her a call. Candy's over at Twin Cedar to get involved. And I can remember when I got my boys, they were, they were 10 and 11 at the time that
Yes.
I got my boys. What target group are you all looking to, what's your target group?
Yes, well, it's age 0 to 18. And also the people that we're looking for is the ones that have maybe been reported to DFACS, but 2/3 of the calls that go into DFACS, the families don't receive service. And so we're trying to get to those families that, have some issues, but it hasn't escalated to where DFACS steps in.
Okay.
And what we're hoping is that we can solve those issues through the families that come around to support the child. They also support the family and try to help them get through the issue that they have. Okay. And some of the issues might be that, maybe the father's been arrested, or even sometimes the mother is arrested. Maybe they're in jail and they're going to be there for 60 days or whatever. Or maybe they have a drug problem and they need to go for treatment and need somewhere to leave their children while they're in treatment. Another thing that has come up, just with us, is that on the Army bases, the mothers who are being deployed or have to go to summer camp, if they're in the reserves, sometimes those mothers need places to leave their children.
Oh my. I was about to ask the question and you went right into what are some of those issues, and I guess when you think about life and the various things that people sometimes are faced with, I guess anything could potentially be a crisis or issue that they need some assistance from outside sources there. And I know that you were saying that over in the UK, they just allocate about $4 million
Yes.
to safe families. What do you see as some of the benefits of a program like this, Wanda? And I know that with the allocation, there's going to come some output results that's going to be needed. So what do you see as the benefits of the program?
Well, there are a lot of benefits. To the family, you're assured of a safe family that you can leave your children with, and you don't lose custody of your children. You're able to still interact and be involved in their life. You still support your children. If they're in daycare, then you would provide that the financial resources for that child to be in daycare. So you don't lose out on your child's life. And then for the churches that are involved, it gives them opportunity to do missions, to reach out in the community and meet needs. And it also, it could increase their membership because you may gain a family through this process. And I think it probably would unite the people within the congregation, because part of it is that the families that are host families are to be supported by the church. And so you would have like family friends that came around them and helped them. And then also within the church you would have a ministry leader and a coach for the family. So it could actually strengthen relationships within the church.
Absolutely, absolutely, and which is a great thing.
Yes, it is.
Again, I think when other agencies can't fill those voids or those gaps, and I think the church is the source, in my opinion, that needs to be able to kind of help fill that void. And we talk about the church, and I think way back to the days when the cities were being formed, built. I think there was like three things. You had the school, the church, and the general store.
Yes.
That always was kind of like I guess like the things that were first built in the town. Why is it so important, and you kind of alluded to this already, why is it so important that your church be involved in this program?
Well, the church has the mandate to take care of the widows and take care of the orphans and also take care of the poor and take care of the aliens and bring them, into your home and give them the support that they need. And so I think that because the church has been given the mandate, the church is probably the one who can do it the best. And the church, the early church, was really known for their hospitality, and also we were known that we were Christians by our love. And so this really gives us an opportunity to show love. And up until 1940, the church was the main entity that took care of social work.
Absolutely.
So it's just really helping the church take her place again.
Absolutely. I tell you what we're going to do, one is great information. I'm going to take a short commercial break. I'm going to come back because you talked about hospitality. I want to get back into that just a little bit more, and then we want to finish up with some other things that you're involved with in the community, if you don't mind, okay?
That's great.
All right. Stay tuned for more City Week in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am now sitting down with Wanda Walker, and we left off a moment ago talking about safe families, and you mentioned about hospitality, and we were talking about the church being the entity that kind of fills the void, or should be able to fill the voids when, other agencies not able to do so. And you mentioned the word hospitality. Talk a little bit about what is biblical hospitality, if you don't mind.
Okay, biblical hospitality is meeting the needs of strangers. And it's welcoming them into your own home. And it also is taking care of the orphan and the widow and the poor, and it is caring for the alien and treating them just like they were one of your own. And so biblical hospitality was a little bit more dangerous or not as comfortable as we view hospitality today. Lots of times we think about hospitality as just being nice and welcoming and kind of like the restaurants do and the hotels do and those kinds of things. But this is really entering into a relationship with people and getting to know them and helping them along their way.
Absolutely. It's so important, you're talking about that. Again, and I know it's kind of sad to see, and the way that the society has moved, people sometimes seem a little hesitant about doing that, but we always need to at least be willing to lend a helping hand when the time and the need arises, though. Let me ask you now, I'm going to close out on this, but families that bring in an individual or family, is there any type of reimbursement that they get, Wanda?
There's no reimbursement. Safe Families depends on people wanting to do this out of their own compassion and out of their faith. Okay,
all right, well, very good. Now, again, I know that you mentioned Candy's name. If there was a family or individual that was there that was listening that would like to be a host family, if you don't mind giving Candy's contact information one more time.
Okay, all right. Her email address is cgibson@twincedars.org.
Okay.
And the number at Twin Cedars is 706-298-0050. And Candy's extension is 1073.
Okay, well, very good. And there's another program that's being offered through Twin Cedars as well, and I want you to talk a little bit about that. It's called Darkness to Light. Talk about what that is all about, one, if you don't mind.
Okay, well, Darkness to Light is an effort to educate people in the community about the signs of child sexual abuse so that we become more aware of those things and are able to prevent them. And it's also to help organizations begin to set policies and procedures that would prevent children being sexually abused.
Okay, well, very good. And I guess Candace is another contact for the Darkness to Light as well?
Well, she is, and also Mackenzie Jackson is the director of that program.
All right, and she can be reached at the Twin Cedars number you
She
gave out
can,
earlier? Okay,
yes.
very good. Now, I'm going to kind of change gears on you a little bit, because I know that you, a person like myself, kind of involved in many of things in the community, because you're also part of Troop Transformation.
Yes.
And Troop Transformation, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Okay. Troop Transformation was formed to provide Christian influence and support to what we call the 7 mountains, or the 7 culture molders, and that is government, business, education, family, culture, which is arts and entertainment, media, and the church.
Very good. Okay. And I know that you all meet, and like I said, I know that you're kind of all over the community doing various things. When do you all meet, Wanda?
We meet every other month. We meet on the odd months, on the second Monday at 5:30. And we meet at the Abbott and Associates building. Okay. And everybody is welcome to come and attend and give input to our meetings. Okay.
And I know that one of the things that you all involved in, I know that you were at the council meeting a couple weeks ago, and there's a community outreach committee that has been formed. Talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Okay. Chief Detmar set up a committee, and he invited community leaders in, pastors and other leaders from different organizations, and what he wanted to do was to make sure that in the community there was a good image for the police department. And however, the goals for that committee quickly went to a deeper level, and what the committee wants to do is work with the neighborhoods that are maybe high risk to help strengthen the community and the neighborhoods so that it reduces crime, and that also is starting relationships with the people in the community to see what the needs are, see how we can help them.
Absolutely. You know, I think a lot of times, and I know that community policing is a big part of what the police officers do with the LaGrange Police Department. I remember back in my days of policing, that's what, you wanted to get out into the community, get to know the residents, so the residents knew the police officer, know the police officer, so that they feel comfortable with calling on him or her if there were things going on in the community that they didn't quite understand, or suspicious things happening,
Yes, and I think, for me, growing up, when we would see the police, we'd just, oh, there's the police.
That's right.
But the police are there to help us.
That's right, absolutely.
And they are just really, and getting to know the people at the police department. They have a real heart for LaGrange. They want the best for LaGrange. They're concerned about the citizens. I rode one day as part of a program that I was doing with one of the police officers, and just riding in the community, if he saw somebody that needed some help, he would stop and get out of his car and help them with whatever he could, and that's just their heart.
That's right. And that's true community policing as well.
It is.
You get out, whether it's in your sector or someone else's sector, if there's a need, you try to get out and address that need.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, we want people to look at the police officer as a friend.
Yes.
And also, if there's something going on in your community that you feel unsafe, that you're not afraid to call the police. We should call the police.
That's right.
Because they will come and they will be our friend in that situation, and they'll help us solve those problems.
Absolutely. And let's not take it into our own hands.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. Changing gears again, I know that this week, the week that we're actually taping, there's a camp that's going on, Wind Shape Camp.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that, and where is that being held?
Okay, Wind Shape Camp is a great camp. It coordinates with Chick-fil-A, and so the camp is a camp that you would expect Chick-fil-A to put on, right?
Okay.
They roll in with all sorts of great things for the children to do. They provide an array of different activities that the children can participate in. They do painting, they have cheerleading, they have dance, they have things that teach you how to be a man. They have a manhood class for the young boys, and they have one that teaches young girls how to be a young lady. They just really come around the child in a way that engages all of their senses. They have gone to Disneyland and learned how Disneyland does it for us, you know, how they have such attractions that we are just engaged. And so they have done that and tailored these activities to just fully engage the child. It's a wonderful camp. And it's also, you know, Christian-based camp. So there's chapel every day, and it's a way for the parents who are working during the summer and need a place for their children to go and really get something of great value.
Very good. And that's being held out at Lafayette Christian School.
It is.
June the 8th through the 12th, during the week that we're taping here.
That's right.
All right, very good. If we don't, Teen Maze is coming up too in October.
Yes. And Teen Maze is a wonderful activity that has been brought into our area. It was brought in by Jane Gannon, and it is an interactive experience for 9th grade students, and they are presented with lots of scenarios about things that they might face in their life. There's a driving scene, there's a party scene, there's even like a scene where they go on a date, and there's also things set up in case they make a decision to have sex and they get pregnant, then they wear a pregnancy belly, and they are given information about the cycle that the women go through, like this is at 3 months, this is how big the baby is, at 6 months, this is how big. And also they have to manage their money through that experience. So they get a taste of those real life situations that could happen.
Eye openers, isn't it?
Eye openers.
That's right.
Yeah. And so, you know, hopefully when they're faced with those in real life, they'll have some skills and they'll make really good decisions.
Absolutely.
So Teen Maze is looking for people to volunteer. It takes a lot of volunteers to put that together.
Absolutely. And that's October the 26th through the 30th, and that will be held out at the West Georgia?
Yes.
Okay, West Georgia. Okay, very good. All right. As we close out, we want to talk a little bit about the. I want to skip down first of all, Circles of Troup County, because I know that they're also in need of volunteers. Talk about that, if you don't mind.
They do. Circles of Troup County addresses poverty, and it helps families who are ready to come out of poverty make that extra step and push. And so you need people to come around them and support them, to be friends, and also help them work on their goals and see, you know, kind of help them see to it that they're meeting their goals on time and how they want to meet them. Okay,
very good. And as we get ready to close out, I know there's going to be a community prayer taking place in September. If you don't mind, talk about that real quickly for us.
Okay, Troop Transformation is sponsoring a community prayer on the square on September the 11th, and we're going to ask that everybody in the county pause and pray from 9/11 to 9/13 on that day. And we're going to make declarations on the square. We're going to make declarations that God is reigning over our city, He's welcome in our city, and that He's over every social or every structure in society in our city. It's going to be a little different than just a prayer meeting. It's going to be a declaration day and a proclamation day.
Very good, and God knows we do need that, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, one I'm going to tell you is, as a host, you know, this has been a wonderful experience. You have a wealth of knowledge here about various things here, great information. I just want the viewing audience to definitely, by all means, take heed to the things that we've talked about here today. Safe Families, if you're interested, give Candace a call, Gibson, over at Twin Cedars, or any other information. One, if you want to give them your number with Troop Transformation, if somebody has a question about anything, if you don't mind.
Okay. My phone number is 706-402 5634.
All right. Wanda, thank you very much for being on the show today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more City Week in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining for City Week this week. My guests have been from Troop Transformation and also from the steering committee of Twin Cedars, Wanda Walker, as she talked about safe families and how you can get involved with safe families. She also gave us some information about upcoming events in the community. So make sure that you come out and support those events. And if you have questions, give her a call or either give Candace a call over at Twin Cedars. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed this interview. And as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.